On the news, Tinubu calls for collective effort towards good governance in Nigeria in commemoration of Democracy Day. Senate President Akpabio urges Nigerians to disregard NOA's version of anthem Nigeria We Hail Thee. And IGP Egbetokun disburses 2.5 billion naira insurance to families of fallen police officers. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Simisola Atikun. As Nigeria marks 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, President Bola Tinubu has charged leaders to recommit to the values of inclusivity, accountability, and transparency in a bid to guarantee a flourishing and enduring nation. In his speech on Wednesday, June 12, Tinubu reflected on the nation's journey from the struggles of military rule to becoming Africa's most populous democracy. According to him, democracy is a journey that must be constantly nurtured and watched closely. This report has details. President Bola Tinubu marked the 25th anniversary of unbroken democracy in Nigeria with a compelling speech where he shared his vision for the country to hopeful citizens at the Eagle Square, Abuja. While reflecting on the nation's journey from the struggles of military rule to becoming Africa's most populous democracy, Tinubu paid tribute to the heroes of democracy in the country. He acknowledged the contributions of pro-democracy activists, journalists, and media establishments in fighting against military dictatorship.
Despite the leather might of the authoritarian government, what appeared to be high and unyielding walls of dictatorship came tumbling down. The dismal fortress exists no longer. The power of an idea, the power of the people proved more potent than all the guns, the munitions, and the threat of the strong men.
Shortly after coming to power in 2023, Tinubu, who doubles as chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, was faced with dealing with the coups in neighboring Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. However, the president vows that democracy in Nigeria cannot be diminished.
The nation exited the yoke of dictatorship in 1999 to become the most populous democracy on African soil, the beacon of democratic self-determination for the black race and one of the largest democracies in the world. This change stands as a pivotal moment in human history. From this change, we shall never turn, nor shall annals of mankind's progress forget the sublime meaning of this great moment. Today, 25 years later, we celebrate the silver anniversary of our journey in democracy.
Addressing the nation's economic and security challenges, Tinubu defended his administration's reforms, outlining his commitment to protecting citizens' rights and pushing forward with vital economic policies. He also announced plans to submit a bill for a new minimum wage to the National Assembly soon.
We have negotiated in good faith and with open arms with organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less. In the face of labor's call for national strike, we did not seek to oppress or crack down on the workers as a dictatorial government of the past would have done. We chose the path of cooperation over conflict. Nobody was arrested or threatened. Instead, the labor leadership was invited to break bread and negotiate towards good faith resolution.
As he underscored the importance of wide-ranging discussions and principled compromise in democratic governance, Tinubu called on citizens to collectively uphold democracy and preserve it for future generations. Simisola Adigun, TV 360 News. But as Nigerians still mark the June 12 Democracy Day celebration, some aggrieved citizens protested against the current state of the country. In Lagos, some protesters who gathered in Ikeja said it's time for President Bola Tinubu's administration to be removed from power. They anchored their demand on the economic hardship Nigerians are facing, stressing that Nigerians can't feed their families comfortably under Tinubu. TV 360's Victoria Konde completes the story.
The aggrieved Lagos residents took to the streets on Wednesday morning to protest against the cost of living crisis in the country. Displaying placards bearing inscriptions of their cause, the protesters voiced their discontent with the current situation, calling for a reversal of policies that have exacerbated hardship and hunger among the populace.
Today, over 31 million Nigerians are said to be food insecure, as at last year, the NBS actually said that over 193 million Nigerians, is 3%, are in multidimensional poverty. But that was last year. On the basis of the past 12 months and what we are seeing, then you can actually realize that possibly nearly double of that would be, even poorer now. And that is why we think that we have to come out to express our displeasure, to demand that those policies must be reversed. We think that Nigeria has enough wealth to make life better for its people. Nigeria is rich, both in mineral resources and in human capital. Why we continue to remain in this condition of squalor, in an ocean of opulence, is the policy of capitalism that series of governments in Nigeria are implementing. That policy fundamentally cannot make life better for all. It can only make the wealth of this country to enrich a few. And that is why we are where we are. What we are coming out to say is that those capitalist policies must end. We need a system change. We need a socialist change. We need Nigeria's wealth to be utilized to make life better for all.
The protesters say a social change which prioritizes the well-being of the people is critical, adding that the nation's wealth should be harnessed for the benefit of all, not just a select few.
It is so pathetic that in 21st century democracy that we pretend to be practicing, that the police, the DSS, the military, they were all releasing statements. Even the time of Boko Haram and kidnapping in Kaduna, they have not released their number of statements that have been released within 24 hours. Just because you don't want people to demonstrate, people to show their grievances that they are hungry. If we are under a true democracy, the governor should be here. The president should also send his representative to be here to come and listen to the plight of the people. If you say that you are for the government of the masses, you must be able to listen to their grievances. One thing is that you cannot beat a child and also determine how the child will cry. The Tinubu regime is flogging us with koboko, and we have the audacity, we have the right, we have everything to cry the way we feel that we are being pained.
That is why Nigerians are now not crying and shouting to the president, to find a lasting solution. Everything, is very hard for this country. Everything, is hard. We cannot continue like this. That is why the president will do something very, very drastic, and find a lasting solution, to this hunger.
Other demands made by the protesters include addressing the structural defects of the Nigerian economy, finding lasting solutions to epileptic power supply, as well as tackle insecurity headlong for the safety of Nigerians. Victoria Akonde, TV 360 Lagos.
In a bid to boost support for the Tinubu-led administration, the Mandate Group, under the aegis of the All Progressives Congress (APC), has set off to raise 40 million members across the nation. The group's intentions were made known at a rally held at Police College Ikeja, Lagos, in commemoration of Nigeria's 25 years of democracy on Wednesday, June 12. Speaking at the rally, the leader of Mandate Group emphasized the significant role played in ensuring sustained leadership of the Tinubu Group in Lagos, while ensuring the incursion of the Tinubu Group into the southwest and the subsequent emergence of Tinubu as president of Nigeria.
Nigeria still faces very difficult challenges, but your sticky intervention in certain areas the past year cannot be denied. Some of these striking achievements are The student loan remains a milestone, where more than 60,000 applications from poor and indigenous students from across the country. The construction of Lagos-Calabar Highway, this will not on that open the business potential in Nigeria. Forever 50,000 Nigeria are expected to be direct and indirect beneficiaries of this project.
The support group called the Mandate, they have been able to deliver over the years. Yes. And because they have been able to deliver, there has been continuity in Lagos State. Yes. That continuity is part of the strategic planning of Asiwaju. Yes. Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu is a political juggernaut. Yes. Among the strategies in this country.
During the 2023 presidential electioneering campaign that eventually ushered in our great leader as president, the Mandate movement led and organized the mother of all rally that held the people of Lagos State. The Mandate movement stands as the most dominant political group in Lagos and the southwestern part of Nigeria. A powerful testament to our enduring impact and significance in shaping the region's political landscape.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has urged Nigerians to disregard the version of the Nigeria We Hail Thee anthem currently being circulated by the National Orientation Agency. Akpabio disclosed this shortly after the rendition of the new anthem by the lawmakers after plenary was adjourned to July 2 for Salah break. According to the Senate President, the version of the new anthem being circulated by the Orientation Agency is in contrast to what was approved and passed by the National Assembly. After the second rendition of the national anthem at the close of the day's sitting, Akpabio reiterated that the version of the new anthem approved and passed by the National Assembly remains the only recognized version.
When you have Nigerians all are proud to serve, they say Nigerians all are proud to serve. That's number one. They should be out. And when we have said those tribes and tongues may differ, they said those tribes and tongues. I hope you understand. And then at the end, when we say Nigeria shall be blessed, they don't say so. They say Nigeria be blessed. We are using the word this country shall be blessed. So tell the National Orientation Agency to drop what they are celebrating now.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has approved a 1.911 trillion naira budget for the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for the 2024 fiscal year. The approval followed a report presented by the Senate Committee on NDDC, chaired by Senator Asuquo Ekpeyong. The committee outlined that the NDDC budget will be funded through contributions from oil companies, proceeds from the Ecological Fund, and the federal government. The funding plan includes borrowing 1 trillion naira, with the federal government contributing 324.8 billion naira, the Ecological Fund providing 25 billion naira, and oil companies contributing 375 billion naira.
In essence, unpaid arrears by federal government and recoveries by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, 170 billion. All companies' contribution and Nigerian liquefied natural others, 375 billion. Ecological funds, 25 billion. Borrowings, 1 trillion. Other internally realized income, 5 billion. Total revenue, 111 billion, 844 million, 833,046 naira. That the Senate do consider and approve the year 2024 budget proposal for the Niger Delta Development Commission in the sum of 1 trillion 900.
Mr. President, I have one observation. Yes. Very important observation. The NDDC is borrowing 1 trillion naira, and I doubt very much if this has been presented in the borrowing plan. Normally, if the federal government wants to borrow money, it either presents it through the borrowing plan, or Mr. President will forward a request to the National Assembly, asking the National Assembly to approve the borrowing of 1 trillion naira.
With regard to the technical question raised by Senator Alelo, for whom I have a lot of respect, I think my recollection, I've not been here for too many years, but when we we pass an appropriation law that provides for deficit, subsequently the President will write as necessary to ask the Senate to approve a borrowing plan, not the other way around. You don't borrow without stating the purpose. So when we have passed the bill, which says that part of the money will be borrowed, in my view and from my limited experiences I've been here, we can, when the President so requests, consider the request to borrow 1 billion or 1 trillion naira. I don't see fundamental contradiction.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has presented 2.5 billion naira in insurance payouts to the widows and next of kin of policemen who died in the line of duty. The checks were handed over to the relatives of 563 deceased officers at a ceremony held at the police headquarters in Abuja. The IGP, Egbetokun, who handled the disbursement, says that the funds were distributed under the Group Life Assurance Policy for the 2018-2019 period, aimed at supporting the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice while serving the nation. He expressed hope that the financial assistance would alleviate some of the hardships faced by the bereaved families. On her part, Force Insurance Officer CSP Lydia Ame praised the IGP for his dedication to ensuring timely payment of insurance claims to the families of fallen officers.
We repay the debt of gratitude we owe them. Through these initiatives, we seek to honor their memory and provide some relief to you, their families. I must reiterate that the welfare of police officers remains paramount to this administration. As we endeavor to enhance the conditions under which they serve, we must also ensure that their families are not forgotten, particularly during times of need. We are committed to continually evolving new welfare schemes and revitalizing existing ones to adequately support the families of our fallen heroes while improving the service conditions of serving officers. On assuming office, I pledge to prioritize the needs and welfare of every policeman, whether serving, retired, or deceased. Foremost among our priorities is enhancing police pensions, addressing the enduring calls for improved pension earnings by retired officers.
The effort of our underwriters and brokers for their understanding and cooperation, and to urge them to not rest on their oath as ensuring timely payment of claim is to our beneficiaries. To the family of our departed heroes, I wish to sincerely convey the heartfelt sympathy. We know that no amount of money can reverse your loss, but we hope that this check presentation today will go a long way toward alleviating some of the financial burdens you bear. In closing, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Agbololu Egbetokun, PhD, NPN, and his management team for their exceptional leadership and relentless effort in prioritizing the welfare and overall well-being of the personnel of the force.
We'll take a break here, but another story is federal government reroutes Lagos-Calabar Highway project, slashes lanes to 6. Stay with us for details. News Now will return shortly. Welcome back. Here's a quick recap of our top stories. As Nigeria marks 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, President Bola Tinubu has charged leaders to recommit to the values of inclusivity, accountability, and transparency in a bid to guarantee a flourishing and enduring nation. In his speech on Wednesday, June 12, Tinubu reflected on the nation's journey from the struggles of military rule to becoming Africa's most populous democracy. According to him, democracy is a journey that must be constantly nurtured and watched closely. We also told you that the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has urged Nigerians to disregard the version of the Nigeria We Hail Thee current anthem currently being circulated by the National Orientation Agency. Akpabio disclosed this shortly after the rendition of the new anthem by the lawmakers after plenary was adjourned to July 2 for Salah break. According to the Senate President, the version of the new anthem being circulated by the Orientation Agency is in contrast to what was approved and passed by the National Assembly. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. It's now time for business and stock market report. Okoyemi Owosheni has the latest. What's the latest in the world of business on Democracy Day, Okoyemi?
Well, thank you, Simisola. Of the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, NDPC, has slammed fines amounting to 400 million naira on 4 banks and 3 other companies for infractions related to breaches of citizens' data. Commissioner of NDPC, Vincent Olatunji, disclosed this during an interactive session with journalists to mark the first anniversary of the signing into law of the Nigerian Data Protection Commission Act by President Bola Tinubu in Abuja. The commissioner reviewed that over the past year, more than 1,000 financial institutions, schools, insurance companies, and consultancy firms have undergone investigations from breaches of citizens' data. He also said there were ongoing investigations concerning data infractions. Still in the world of business, the federal government says it has rerouted the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal highway path to avoid any possible damage to subsea cables belonging to telecommunication companies. The government also said it has seized the project size from 10 lanes to 6 as a cost-saving measure for the legacy project. Minister of Works David Umahi, who disclosed this in a meeting with contractors on Tuesday in Abuja, said the government had disbursed a total sum of 10 billion naira as compensation to property owners affected by the demolition necessary for the construction of the highway. Well, that's it on business news. There will be no stock market reports today as the markets are closed because of the Democracy Day holiday. Back to you, Simisola, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okoyemi. And on the foreign scene, at least 41 people have died in a fire which swept through a building that housed workers in Kuwait on Wednesday morning. Officials say the blaze appeared to be linked to code violations. Authorities say the fire has been brought under control while investigations are ongoing. The southern Mangab district is heavily populated with foreign laborers, but there is no immediate information on the nationality of the casualties. According to local media reports, Deputy Prime Minister Sheikh Fahad Al-Yusuf Al-Sabah has confirmed the toll and ordered the arrest of the building's owner during a visit to the site. Russia and Belarus have begun the second stage of tactical nuclear weapon drills, part of Moscow's efforts to discourage the West from ramping up support for Ukraine. Russia announced the exercises last month after French President Emmanuel Macron said he will not rule out deploying troops to Ukraine under certain conditions, while the United States and some other NATO allies said Kyiv was allowed to use Western-supplied weapons on targets in border areas of Russia. In the drills that began on Tuesday, the Russian Ministry of Defense said the exercise was aimed at maintaining the readiness of personnel and equipment to ensure the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the alliance between Russia and Belarus. And on sports, Comoros has overtaken Ghana for a spot in Group I of the African qualifiers for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This follows Comoros' massive 2-0 victory over Chad on Tuesday when the nation's team locked horns with Chad at the Municipal Stadium of Uja in a round 4 fixture of Group I. Following the 2-0 win at full-time, Comoros is above Ghana in the standings as a result of the superior goal difference and head-to-head. Still on sports, Erik ten Hag is set to remain as coach of Manchester United following a performance review of the Dutchman carried out by the Premier League club. That's according to British media. Rumours whirled regarding the future of ten Hag after a poor second season in the hot seat at Old Trafford with a lowly 8th place finish in the league and group stage Champions League exit. But the 54-year-old coach did oversee an impressive 2-1 FA Cup final win against local rivals Manchester City in May to boost his chances of keeping his job. Well, that's all on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.